Hi, I'm Jim Pellegrino from the University of Illinois at Chicago, and I'm part of a team of researchers and educators from UIC and from Worcester Polytechnic Institute, and we're focusing on two instructional design principles that can enhance student learning of critical mathematical knowledge and skills. The team includes Susan Goldman and Dina Sofer and Kevin Dietz from UIC, and Neil Heffernan and Christina Heffernan from Worcester Polytechnic. Now, the two principles that we're interested in are focused on improving the initial learning of specific mathematical knowledge as well as the retention of that knowledge over time. Now, we know that when students are first learning some new material or new content like a mathematical concept or skill, an example might be the area of a triangle and how to determine it. The process usually starts with an explanation of what that concept means and examples and illustrations of the application of that concept. Now, there's a large body of research showing that for students to adequately learn the new content, they need more than just the study of examples. What they need are opportunities to apply that knowledge to new examples. These opportunities come in two forms typically: practice problems that can be done in class or as homework, and quizzes or tests in which students are given an opportunity to show what they know. Now, curricular materials and teacher instructional practices in the classroom provide both sets of opportunities, but often the way in which this is done is not as optimal as research would suggest. So the two principles we are applying are based on research showing that the best way to help students learn new material and retain that material over time is to provide a balance between assessment with feedback and distributed practice. Now, the assessment with feedback principle is especially important early on in the learning process. Research shows that it's extremely important and valuable for students to have an opportunity to move from studying examples of a new concept or procedure to trying to recall and apply that knowledge in a quiz-like situation. This not only lets the student see how well she has understood the new topic, but also how well she can apply it. Now, for this testing to really be effective and produce a benefit, students also need feedback that not only tells them if they got the right or the wrong answer, but in the case that they might have made a mistake or done something incorrectly, what was incorrect, why it was incorrect, and particularly important is what can they do about it to be sure that in the future they respond correctly. So this principle of assessment with feedback, which is sometimes called formative assessment, since the knowledge of results is designed to impact what happens in terms of future learning activities, is an extremely important part of the learning process. It's also a principle that can be difficult to implement in a classroom since it requires active monitoring of how students are doing on specific problems during this early phase of learning, and then giving them timely and informative feedback. Now, once students have learned a particular set of concepts or skills, they also need multiple opportunities to practice applying and using what they already know. Practice helps make sure that the knowledge is stronger and easier to retrieve and apply when it is needed. And this is especially important if that piece of knowledge, an example again being how to determine the area of a triangle, is required to solve a larger multi-step problem. And research shows that it's not simply enough to give students practice, or it's not simply the amount of practice that matters in helping students retain and apply what they know, but it is especially important that the practice be distributed or spaced over time to optimize the benefits of practice. Mass practice in which students repeat doing the same thing over and over and over again is far less effective than distributed practice. And making sure that students have enough opportunities to practice specific components of knowledge and skill and that the practice is properly distributed across lessons and units in a curriculum is often a challenge in the design of instructional materials and in actual classroom practice. So what our team is focused on is how to help teachers use curriculum materials in ways that ensure that their students properly learn the concepts and skills in mathematics that are important at a specific grade level. And this means providing appropriate opportunities and materials for testing with feedback during the early phases of learning, but also ensuring that there are well-spaced practice opportunities that support knowledge retention.